Welcome back to another episode of the Know Your Power podcast. I am your host, Juliarene.
And I am Kendall Graboff.
Welcome, guys. Welcome. Today, we are going to be talking about how to get back on track after falling off. And the reason I really want to talk about this is because this was me this past weekend. I went to ACL and just...
How was that, by the way?
It was really fun.
Was it?
It was fun. I'm not a festival person at all. It was a lot, but it ended up being fun in the end. But we stood in the scorching heat for an hour just to get in the park after walking about a mile to get to I was
It's
done.
a lot, yeah.
I do not like sweating, especially when I had my hair and my makeup done. I was like, there was no point in me even doing this because it just literally melted off my face. I was getting real frustrated. I was telling Zach, I was like, I don't like this. I'm not about it.
I didn't go this year, but I went last year, and the last person on the lineup was Billie Eilish, who is my favorite artist of all time.
Yep.
So I got there at like opening and literally stood right in front of her stage all day, listened to artists I didn't know, listened to artists I didn't like.
You're committed.
I was like, I'm going to be front row at Billie Eilish, and
I would have been like,
whether it kills me or not.
She's on at 8. Okay, I'll get there at like 7:30. I don't care if
No, my ass was there at like 10 a.m. waiting.
Kendall's like, I'm ready.
No,
I'm ready.
Literally. So I feel like that was my ACL experience, was literally just standing there in front of the stage the whole entire day. So I
felt
get
that
it.
way
It wasn't fun until she came on.
Remember when we went to the Olympia? I felt that way when we went to the Olympia. I'll stand all day to
Our
watch.
legs were like numb. My back was hurting, and we were like, wellness is on next. We need to stay.
It was like it was a festival, and we had to like stand at the front and wait for wellness so that we can be like front row. It was so worth it because we got to see the first
that was amazing
wellness champion ever made.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, going back to the ACL, like I was just off track this weekend. Like I wasn't really focusing on my health. I was just, and like this just happens. And I think that when this happens, people get so hung up on getting off track that they feel like they have to overcompensate or they have to over exercise, they have to eat less, and they have to beat themselves up about it. But this is literally just life. Like a part of life is going and doing these things. So on Monday, I just kind of do like a reset. So I was like, let's just talk about this. So the first thing that I like to do is make sure that I rehydrate. And especially after going to ACL and I was like in the scorching heat and like you're doing a bunch of things and you just like don't really remember to drink water, or you're going to like an event or you're doing something. It's literally kind of like the last thing that you think of. And I didn't want to walk around a festival with my giant jug.
Gallon.
And you know me, I bring it everywhere, but I couldn't really bring it there. So that's one thing that I make sure that I really, really do all the time. But for sure, like on that Monday when I'm like, ooh, shit, like my face is swollen from eating burgers and like I'm just like sleepy because I was up late.
I feel like we're weirdly in the same boat this week. So I feel like this episode applies to both of us, because I was in Chicago for the majority of last week and I flew back in Sunday, and I had an immense amount of gluten-free deep dish pizza and pasta and like all these foods I never usually eat. I did do a lot of walking too, and I wasn't hydrating. So same thing, like especially after the plane ride, I was exhausted, I was dehydrated, I felt swollen, like same exact boat. All of Monday, I was like, I am drinking as much water as possible, and it made me feel so much better.
I love that.
Yeah.
One thing that I do to like help me hydrate like 3 times faster. If anyone has been watching my YouTube, you know that I've been using Liquid IV for like a long time. And
I swear
that's what I do.
them.
Monday morning, I fill up my gallon. I put my strawberry. Strawberry is my favorite flavor.
That's my favorite too.
Honestly, though, I actually think I have a discount. Like this wasn't even supposed to be an ad, but I actually I actually have a discount with Liquid IV. If you guys want 15% off, I think the code is Juliarene. I don't think, I actually know. This really wasn't supposed to be an ad because like I genuinely use this all the time and I freaking love it. So every time that I have one of those weekends where I'm super off, first thing in the morning, it's like Liquid IV, fill it up, drink that whole thing, because you literally are hydrated 3 times faster than if you were just having water alone.
I don't even have a code and I use it weekly. So I'm going to use your code now.
Yes, Juliarene.
Yes.
For 15% off. And it's 15% is a lot.
It is. Because it is kind of expensive, but I think that's because it like really does work.
Because of like what it does for you. Yeah. I've even like, my mom is probably listening to this right now and my mom uses it too. My mom barely drinks any water because she's so busy and she just like goes throughout the day. She's a hairstylist, so she's going from client to client, and she's been using liquid IV for such a long time now, and she loves it too because it also tastes really good, so it makes you drink water. To me, water's boring. I hate drinking
water.
plain water.
I hate water so much.
I'm like, it's just so blech. It tastes bad, so I like flavor.
Same.
But yeah, so number 1, make sure that you're hydrated and rehydrate yourself from whatever kind of weekend you had. Whatever it is. Even if you're hungover, definitely
you need it more.
Definitely
if you're hungover.
rehydrate.
Yeah.
And moving into number 2, and that's move your body. So this can literally just be whatever you want. Like for me, honestly, it was kind of hard going after this weekend to like go into a hard lifting session on Monday. So I've just been kind of like easing myself into it, doing more so like yoga and doing a little bit lower intensity cardio because I know that moving my body is going to help me feel better, feel energized, get back on track, kind of like relieve some of the swelling that I have from like eating all the fun foods and stuff because literally my face shows everything whenever I eat off track.
Mine does too.
I'm like, why do you look? I'm like,
I feel very puffy today.
Like, yeah, so fluffy. And then I like instantly have breakouts. I'm like, why does this happen so fast?
Me too, though. Me too.
It's so annoying. It's literally instant. I'm like, oh, I ate a chocolate. The pimple starts coming as like I take
Isn't
the bite.
it crazy? Like our bodies just aren't used to these things. So it really does react externally.
It's not fun.
I agree
whatsoever.
with the move your body. I have a client that was traveling the same amount of time I was, and she flew back in Monday, and I saw her Monday night, and she was like, can we please not do legs? Because she knew I was going to kill her if we did. And she was like, I just want to ease back into it today. I want to start with upper body. We did a lot more stretching than usual, a little more ab work than usual, just because she did eat off and felt off. And I feel like that's like the perfect time to be nice to yourself and have like a pretty easy workout where you just enjoy whatever you do in the gym. So sometimes that is like, I came back and I hadn't worked out the whole time I was in Chicago. So I was like, I'm going to kill my legs because I knew mentally that's what I wanted and needed.
Yeah.
But sometimes you don't have the energy for that. So then go in and be like, I'm just going to get a shoulder pump and that's all I'm going to do today.
Exactly.
As long as you're doing something.
Yes, get your body moving, because if you're listening to this podcast, like, you know how you feel when you get your body moving, and it doesn't matter how intense it is or whatever, as long as you just get your body moving so that you can be set up for the rest of the week. Because then maybe Tuesday rolls around, you're like, okay, I'm ready to crush some legs today.
Yeah. Just give yourself a day or two.
Give yourself some time.
Actually, that's number 3.
Yes, number 3 is to actually have me time. And like, what I mean by this is kind of just like recentering yourself and your goals. And for me, it's waking up in the morning and filling out my Know Your Power journal, setting and writing down like my intentions, my gratitude, my goals for the week. And when I do that, I just feel so much better and I feel set up to achieve these things that I want to achieve. And then when I forget about them, it's like, they're in the back of my mind, and I want these things to always be in the forefront of my mind. I want my goals. I want things that I'm grateful for. And I want the to-dos to also be in the front of my mind, because honestly, I'll forget about them if they're not there.
Why are we the same person? Because that's literally what I did yesterday. I Monday, I posted up at Summer Moon with my journal. I did a to-do list. I wrote about my whole trip, how it went. I have been having really bad like flight anxiety. So I wrote a lot about the anxiety I've been having, how I'm going to work on it. And then similar, when I'm off track, which I'm sure a lot of people listening or even you could relate, is like, it's so easy to beat yourself up and be like, I shouldn't have done that. And you like regret eating bad or not working out or whatever it was. And so I feel like journaling's a good way to kind of put it on the table and be like, okay, it was fun. I had a good time. I shouldn't regret that. This is what I'm going to do to get back on track this week. And then make this list of like, I'm going to hydrate. I'm going to work out. I'm going to have me time. Like, it's just all kind of, I feel like it's just necessary steps, and it eventually becomes second nature where you're like, okay, after every time that I do quote unquote slip up with my diet or my workout plan, it becomes easier to get back on track because it becomes second nature. Yeah.
And you don't just spend so much time beating yourself up over it, because like literally that's just wasted time. It's just wasted time.
It's so easy to do so though.
Just get right back. Just get right back to doing the things that you know make you feel good, energize, and make you feel really confident about your goals. And that's it. That's just it. Don't sit there and be like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. Like, that's not getting you anywhere.
That's how I feel like people end up off track forever is because they get off track one weekend and then they get off track the next weekend, and then they start losing the sight of how do I get back on track, and instead they just are like, well, this is the new comfortable, and then they stick to the bad diet and lose track of their goals. So
yeah. You're so right. Like you get off track one time and it's like, oh, it's the end of the world.
Yeah.
I'm off track forever now. I can never get back. And then like getting back on track seems like we make it so hard.
Yeah.
We build it up in our head to be like, oh my God, like I can't, how am I going to go from this to like being perfect, being on my cardio? It's just like, no, none of that.
Really not that big of a deal.
Just ease into it.
I have a client who, just because I've been working with him for a year, and I feel like recently I've seen this shift in his brain where he's really wanting to try so hard with his diet, and I'm so proud of him for doing so. So we have a whiteboard in his gym, and we write down his goal weight. When he weighs in, he updates his current weight. And then we do have a tracker of how many days he's eaten, not even like 100% on meal plan, but like clean, where he hasn't had a binge episode or eaten a cheat meal. How many days has it been since the last one? And he was at like 15 days when I left for Chicago, and I came back on Monday and I was with him, and he was like, I have bad news. And I was like, what? And he was like, I had some pizza. And I was like, oh, okay. And he was like, wait, like, you're not mad? I was like, why would I be like, you just ate clean for 15 days. You had some pizza. Let's get back on track and make it another 15. And then you'll have more pizza. Like, like cheat meals are normal. Be nice to yourself. He immediately started beating himself up and expected me to also. And I was like, what do you mean? Like you had people visiting from out of town. Yeah. Have your slice of pizza. I had a whole ass personal pizza to myself in Chicago. And as long as I came back and I started getting back on track and I didn't beat myself up and I didn't overcompensate, like that's all you can do.
Yeah. And like really what ends up happening too, and I started realizing this is like, so say I have like a weekend when I'm off or whatever, what ends up happening is that you might gain a little bit of weight. You might, be a little puffy, like all these things happen.
Don't panic.
I think like another additional thing that I want to add to this is like probably number one, honestly, after the kind of weekends, I don't check my weight. I don't measure myself. I don't take photos. I just like, nah, fuck it. We're just going to rehydrate, get my body moving, have the me time. I just go through these steps because when I do that, then I'm like, oh my God, you gained 2 pounds. And if we really think about it, this is all just water weight. Like your body is not used to it. So for example, like when your client was like 15 days, he was killing it. He was so proud.
His weight went down.
Yes, because that's how men are. And it's annoying.
It is.
Literally.
But he was panicking, and I looked at, because he updated the weight when he updated that now clean eating was back to 2 and not 15. He updated his weight. I was like, what are you freaking out about?
He boosted his metabolism and lost weight.
And he like couldn't comprehend it. I was like, this is why,
I'm like, I hate you.
I do. I definitely gained a little weight in Chicago, but same thing. I came back. I didn't weigh myself. I waited 2 days, was back on eating right, back on exercising, weighed myself, and my weight's the same. And I was like, what was I freaking out for?
That's exactly what happens. But people don't get past that point of like seeing that's why I don't look at the scale.
Yeah.
Because I know my weight is going to balance right back out if I just get back on track. But if you keep prolonging it and you push it and you push it and you just stay off track for like the rest of your life, of course, like you're going to continuously gain weight and your body's going to change.
Yeah.
But if you're off track for a weekend, who gives a fuck? And then you get back and it just ends up balancing out, because having some pizza, having some burgers, going out to drink for the weekend, it's not the end of the world. It's when it becomes like a habit and a routine, when you do it all the time, that it's like, okay, that's going to make lasting changes to your body and to your weight.
I also want to say, like, everyone's different. Like, it might take you 3 days to get back to your before weight before the weekend. It might, for someone like my client, you wake up the next day leaner. Like, I think everyone is so different.
I wish I was that person.
I wish I was that person
For
too.
me, it takes
me a few days.
Yeah, it takes like 3 days.
Yeah.
But it just depends. Like if it's a one meal off, it's like I'm back to normal by Monday. Like it's no big deal. But if it's like,
I've definitely had a full off week before.
Yeah, it's just a full off. I'm like, it'll take me another week of being just clean, and it just goes back to normal. And if you just give yourself that chance to just get back to your baseline without any stress and like, oh, I forgot, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. So moving into number 4 is to plan your week. So you're off track, like your schedule's off, maybe you haven't gotten shopping, you haven't planned your workout. So I take this time to either do it in like Google Calendar for me, or I'll write it in because I have Google Calendar, and then I have like my daily calendar,
organized queen,
where I write stuff down as well, because I like to like check things off and like cross them off with the highlighter.
It feels so good to like accomplish something.
When you cross, like when you just highlight, like
I be putting some stupid things on my to-do list just to cross them off. I'm like, get out of bed. And I'm like, I did that.
I literally had this conversation with my mom, because my mom is so much like that. I think my mom and I were talking about it, and we were like, we even put something that we already had done.
I do that. My thing was like to journal, and I was like, I'm journaling currently.
Bro, I already did cardio, and I wrote cardio, and then I crossed.
Dude, it just feels good. It's just like fun to accomplish. But I feel like it is like a weird like mental way to boost your confidence.
100%, because it makes me feel like I did more that day, which I did. So like, why not put it on paper?
That's so
I'm proud.
Funny.
Gold star
I'm
for
so
Julia.
glad that you also do that. I'd feel less weird.
Oh yeah, 100%. I didn't. The only reason I can share that with you now is because I watched my mom do it like a while ago, and I was like, Mom, we're the same person. She's like, what? I was like, you so already did that, and you wrote it on your list. It was so adorable. But yeah, like, plan your week. So for me, this weekend, I didn't go grocery shopping. I didn't have any meals. So Monday, I was like, okay, I'm going to write down my grocery list. These are things that I need. And I'm going to go to the grocery store, and I'm going to go and get those. I'm going to plan my workouts for the week so that I know what I'm going to do. And this is also kind of like loosely planned based off of like my recovery and like how I'm feeling. So I was like, okay, Tuesday, I'm going to hit my glutes and hamstrings. I'm going to crush it. And that's exactly what I did. Monday, I took it very easy, because I just knew, okay, after this weekend, you're not going to be ready to like destroy your legs. And that's what worked really good for me. So just scheduling these things out so that you were like, okay, cool, I have a plan. We're going to work out this day. We're going to do cardio this day. I'm going to go and get groceries. Here's my grocery list. Like, just adulting.
I feel like it just eases your brain, so you're not going into the week blind and being like, I hope I get back on track. It's like, no, like take the steps to make sure you're going to get back on track.
Exactly. And even if like you have time on like Sunday to like schedule picking up your groceries, like if you do curbside, it's only like, they only charge you like $5. To do, like, to me, I'm like, that's worth it to not go into the grocery store. So much time. So literally just Sunday night, you can even be laying in bed, just order your groceries and then go pick them up Monday morning. Like, that's adulting.
And then that's starting your week off on like such a good note. It's like, oh, now you have all this healthy food.
I tried to do that and it didn't work. And I was like, technology.
I still have no groceries. So I am being a huge hypocrite right now. I'm going today. I was going to say it's my rest day from the gym. I'm also going to go to the gym, and I'm going to get my groceries.
Look at Kendall.
Took me a few days to get back on track this time, you guys. It happens.
Sometimes it happens, especially when you fly, bro. I'm like, I need a week recovery.
It does.
But if I like just drive somewhere, I'm like, okay, maybe like a day or two. But when I fly, I'm like, I'm out for the count.
Yeah.
I hate flying.
I'm definitely like very drained this week.
I sweat on the plane, and then I get cold, and then I sweat.
Well, with my new flight anxiety, I've realized I have a new stress response where I think I'm like mildly narcoleptic, where I was having a panic attack, just knocked out. So I slept for like 10 minutes, and then I would wake up.
Like, what happened?
I would wake up, I would look outside, and I'm like, wow, we're way higher up. And then I would like fall asleep again. I was a mess. I was a mess that whole flight. It felt like a 10-hour flight because I was in and out of sleep. So my whole like equilibrium is just off right now.
I hate that.
No, it was terrible.
Much. I literally, like, I love traveling and stuff, but I hate flying so much because it's just like, why?
Yeah.
It's just nothing about it.
I can't imagine going to like Europe. I can't imagine sitting on a plane that long.
When I go like 3 hours from like
I'm a mess.
Texas to California or something like that, I'm like, bro, this is as long as I can go.
No, yeah. I've been to Hawaii, and that was like a 7-hour flight. 5 to 7, in that range. I don't know what it was. And that one, I think I forced myself to sleep the whole time, but I can't imagine. I have a client that just went to South Africa. That's like a 15, 16-hour flight. I would die.
I would literally die of boredom. I would just like stare at the wall and like contemplate life and then try to sleep. Because when I sleep on a plane, I end up punching things. Because when
You're just in the middle seat, just like sucker punching
I've
the
done
two
it
other
so
people.
many times, and I scare the people. I punch forward. Luckily, I punch
that's
forward.
Good. You're not punching them.
But I scare the people that are next to me every time because when I fall asleep and I'm sitting up, my body's like, no, this is wrong. You're not doing it right. You need to be horizontal. And so I am in the middle of falling asleep and like slightly dreaming, and then it like jolts me awake and I punch the air. And
I weirdly think that's like a muscle person thing because I think our muscles are really overactive that every time I've ever fallen asleep in the same vicinity as anyone, they have told me that I fully like convulse
Zach
as
does
I'm falling
that
asleep.
The entire time that he's getting ready to fall asleep.
Yeah, I feel like
his entire body.
People with more muscle, I feel like our bodies like twitch more.
Literally. And the first time that we ever like spent the night together, I was like laying on his chest and he was getting ready to fall asleep, and he twitches hard, like to the point where it scared me. And he goes, "Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you that I twitch uncontrollably until I fall asleep." And I was like,
think I do too.
Okay, cool, bro. Good to know.
That's so funny.
Yeah, now I just know. I'm like, okay, he starts twitching. Get away from me.
He's falling asleep.
Go have your own time. But
that was such a big tangent.
My bad. Yeah. That was just
That's okay. That's what the people are here for.
Tangents.
They just want to hear our thoughts.
Our tangents. Today's tangent episode on Know Your Power.
That's honestly all of the Monday mindsets have me just been on mini tangents and rants. I rarely go in with a plan. I'm like, we're going to talk about positivity. And I just go on a tangent for 5 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, why not? Sometimes
that's
the
how my brain
tangents
works.
they're going somewhere. We're not sure where, but they're going.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was supposed to be about planning your week. So this is like shopping for groceries. When you're going to do that, what you're going to get, what meals you're going to have. You know, if you have a family, planning these meals out, maybe what days you're going to order in, stuff like that. And, make it a little bit easier and schedule the groceries to go and pick them up. I know they do that at H-E-B in Texas. I don't know where you are, but they do that here in Texas.
I was going to say included in that. I know it might seem counterproductive to some people, but it helps me and it has seemed to help my clients that I implement this with. If they have a cheat meal and they're not used to having cheat meals, it can sometimes bring up cravings that you're not used to having. So I think pre-planning when your next cheat meal is going to be or your next like fun weekend is going to be, I think that can keep you motivated to stay on track until then. So like I just had Chicago, right? I think I'm going to plan like, okay, maybe not this weekend, but Wednesday next week, I'm going to have pizza or like whatever it is. And then that gives me something to look forward to be like, okay, let's stay on track 100% until that next Wednesday.
Exactly. And then when you get to there, you're like, I did a thing.
Yeah.
And it's actually more fun and more enjoyable in my opinion. Cause like when I was on like bodybuilding prep and like I would have one cheat meal a week and it had to be like way more strict. I would love that. That was the best day of the week.
Yeah, right? You just look forward to it.
It was after leg day. It was always a Whataburger meal, and Whataburger's my favorite. Anyways, I haven't eaten yet, so like this is bad that we're talking about this. But the last tip, number 5, is to get shit done. And let's go into what this means. It means to get shit done. Like all these things.
Very so simple.
Rehydrate, move your body, have some me time, planning your week, when you're going to go shopping, when you're going to do your workouts. Let's actually start putting it into action because we can do all of this stuff, but if we don't actually do the things and spend so much time just like over planning and we don't actually get anything done. So like now it's time, go to the grocery store, go to the gym, do all these things, journal. Number 5, there's not a number 5.
Again, like just start with small stuff. Like even writing those stupid to-dos that you already did, like showering or doing your makeup or like putting on a cute outfit. Like those little things add up and then that makes you feel more productive. And when you feel more productive, you're amped to be more productive. So I feel like it just kind of snowballs. I feel like for me, getting into the gym that first day, the day I actually flew back, I did end up going to the gym, but I was exhausted. So first I did the hydrated and I had some me time. I think I took a nap. I really prioritized drinking water. I took a shower. I like fully relaxed. And then I was like, okay, now I'm going to go and just do like a short workout. And then I'll make tomorrow my like official start day again. So
damn, I don't know how you did that. I would have been like, fuck it.
I think because I didn't work out all week, I was like, I just need to get something in. Or that's when I would have started beating myself up, is if I didn't work out that day that I got back. Because I just wanted that to be my start day again. I decided that for myself.
I admire that.
Well, thank you.
I do admire that. I'd been like, nah, just get down.
Yeah. It definitely wasn't like an insane workout, but like I'm
but
glad I did go. Yeah, I'm glad I went.
So yeah, guys, that is how to get back on track.
It's pretty simple.
After falling off. It's simple.
It's not easy, but it's simple. And I feel like the biggest takeaway is to not regret or beat yourself up over having a fun weekend or whatever it was, like any sort of meal or drink or that isn't on your typical plan. I feel like it is so okay to have that once in a while. You're not going to die. It's not going to ruin your progress. Just like be nice with yourself and move forward as though it didn't happen.
Exactly. And just get right back on track to the things that you know make you feel good. Because honestly, the more time that we dwell on the thing that happened in the past, like it just keeps making us actually feel worse. And there's no progress in that, and there's no moving forward. So like, okay, let's look forward. How can I look forward to my week? Where am I going to work out? Where am I going to put myself first? You know, where am I going to rehydrate, aka the very next day? So yeah, just to really go over it, the one that I added was like, don't check the scale. Especially if you're somebody that struggles with letting the scale control your life, don't check the scale. Don't take your progress photos. Don't do any of that. Just move on. Rehydrate, because you're most likely dehydrated from the weekend. Maybe it was drinking. Maybe it was just you were out and you weren't thinking about it. Move your body in whichever way. It doesn't have to be something super crazy. You could just like wake up and go on a walk. Anything to like get the ball rolling. Doesn't have to be like crushing your legs or anything like that. And then planning. No. Having some me time. This one is like really important. Especially just to kind of like recenter what's important to you for the week and recenter your goals. Because like, I'm gonna be honest, on the weekend, I like forget about my goals. Like if it's something that I'm just like, no, it's like, I'm not on prep for bodybuilding. I'm just living my life here. So recentering, okay, this week, this is what's important to me. I'm going to journal things down. What have I been experiencing this past week? How am I feeling? Okay, cool. Julia, mentally good to go. Let's move on with the week. And then actually like scheduling, like let's do the actual adult things. Like when am I going to work out? When am I going to go to the grocery store? What meals am I going to have this week? #adulting. And then number 5, easy, but not really at the same time, is to get shit done.
Yeah.
All of these things are easy. Like you said, they're simple.
Not easy.
Simple, not easy.
Liv said that on the podcast and I took that with me. That's my new motto.
Simple.
Simple, but not easy.
Yeah.
Applies to a lot.
It really does.
Anyway, I mean, thank you so much for listening and watching.
And as always, we all love you all so much, and you are more powerful than you think.
Bye.